All right, number 27. We're doing a little division. Kids struggle with this. It's okay. Let's take a look at it. I'm going to start. A goes into a squared how many times? It goes in a times. I now do a times each of the two pieces there. A times a is a squared. A times the -3 is -3a. This is where the big mistake happens. What happens is we must subtract this whole thing. So if you come to the side, what you have up top is a squared plus a, and you're subtracting the whole thing of a squared minus 3a. What happens when you subtract that whole thing? The negative sign gets distributed through. So I get an a squared plus a minus an a squared plus 3a. Now the a squareds disappear, okay? But you now have an a plus 3a. How much does that give you? That gives you 4a, doesn't it? And a lot of kids will put a 2a there. But remember, it's a minus a -3a. That minus a negative changes to plus, so you end up with 4a. I then bring my 12 down, and now you start the problem all over again. You say, hey, a minus 3 goes into 4a minus 12. How many times? Well, a times what gives you 4a? That's a 4. 4 times a is 4a. 4 times that minus 3 is minus 12. And if I subtract the whole thing, in this case, I get no remainder. So it goes into it a perfect a plus 4 times. 28. Okay. I don't think this one's going to, I think this one's going to have a remainder. Let's see. A goes into a squared, a times a squared. A times the 5 minus 5a. Remember, I'm subtracting the whole thing. So a squared minus a squared goes away. 2a minus a negative. That changes to plus. And 2a and a positive 5a is 7a. Bring down my 35. I was wrong. It's perfect. A goes into 7a 7 times. 7 times a, 7a. 7 times the 5 minus 35. And I subtract the whole thing. And yes, it goes with no remainder. This one, not one I'll typically give you, but it's okay. 2a times what gives you 4a squared? 2a, because 2a times 2a is 4a squared. 2a times the 7 is minus 14a. Again, we must subtract the whole thing. 4a squared minus 4a squared goes away as it always will. Negative 2a minus a negative. That changes to plus 14a. This is going to give you positive 12a's there because a minus negative 14 changes to plus 14a. And a positive 14a and a negative 2a right here, whoop, goes away to 12a. Bring down my 35. 2a times what is 12a? That looks like Mr. 6. 6 times that, 12a. 6 times 7 minus 42. We're subtracting the whole thing. 12a minus 12a goes away, nothing. Negative 35 minus a negative. That changes to plus. We're going to get a remainder of positive 7. So up top we'll say plus, this is a remainder, 7 over 2a minus 7. So we have that little bit of a remainder.